Warehouse and Operations as a Career, and I'm Marty back with you. I hope I can pronounce my words here today. I'm healing up pretty good. I guess we'll see how it goes. I wanted to thank all y'all for the kind words regarding my little oral surgeries lately. They're almost through and everything's healing up pretty well. So with the little downtime I've had recently, I've been working on a few new training classes for a couple of upcoming projects. I was asked to explain in very simple terms what a warehouse management system or warehouse maintenance system was, and if I could talk a little about the three most popular selection or RF tools used in the warehouse. We've mentioned all of them here at WAOC on a couple of different episodes, but we've never done any kind of a deep dive with them, so let's talk about those for a few minutes today. So a warehouse management system is basically a software program that can support and optimize our freight movement and really overall distribution centers management and the efficiencies. Now, there's not just a simple one definition for a WMS that's going to fit everybody and everything. I went to Wikipedia. I know, not a definitive source for a lot of us, but I always start out there when I'm looking for words to use. Well, the first thing you see there is an orange exclamation mark, warning that the page has some issues and they'd appreciate any help with verifying facts, etc. It's a complicated system to explain. Let's start out talking about what a WMS is not, I guess. It is not a simple plug-and-play computer program. I think this is where a lot of small to medium-sized facilities make a critical mistake. I think the first thing we think of when we hear WMS is the word inventory. And yes, a major component of any WMS will be tracking and keeping accurate inventory counts, but it has to go much deeper than that. I look at a WMS as a complex database. We feed so much information into our systems that a good system can give us so much information in return. We just don't always set everything up where we can use it to our advantage. We were talking about inventory a minute ago. Yes, it'll keep our inventory counts correct for us if we've done our part by deducting sales, any damages, returns, etc. But it can keep our inventory levels and buys for us too, if we set it up right. Let's look at what I think, at the very least, that we need to think about when setting up our WMS. Now, I'm not a salesman trying to sell a system, so I'm going to just stick with what I want as an ops person. First, we probably need to understand that any WMS program is not going to be cheap for our company to install. Whether we're looking at a bare bone, mainly inventory system, or the full-blown package that'll include inventory control, a receiving module with RF scanning capabilities, and put away and replenishment models to go along with shipping and selection. A complex WMS will even contain selection planning, routing, and a transportation management piece also. Although not cheap, they can be very affordable if all the efficiencies they bring to the table are going to be utilized. You know, typically around 75% of the cost of an order is in our labor. And if our WMS can route us through the warehouse, maximizing productivity and reducing or eliminating picking errors, well, can we afford not to make that investment? As we've learned, travel time is costly. An order selector may only spend half of his or her time selecting. Imagine increasing that time by 100, 200, or 300% just by optimizing our cube utilization, velocity, and movement throughout our facility. Add in the convenience and time savings of knowing where all of our product is located or slotted, and a way to automatically get that new order and information to the warehouse. If we run all those numbers, again, I'd have to ask, can we afford not to have a good, robust system in place? I know of one, I'd say a good-sized, medium-sized distribution center that had been working without any type of a directed system and were still selecting off of pick tickets. As for the selecting aspect of the operation, they had it down pretty good. The selectors knew where the product and reserves were located. They could do a pretty good job. As for the inventory, though, well, from time to time, a customer may place an order, and it was a crapshoot sometimes that the order could even be filled. Their receiving department, sales and fulfillment or shipping departments were basically working off of spreadsheets. I'm making it sound worse than it actually was. They had a program, but it relied heavily on employee input and data entry. Rarely was any counts correct, and without a directed warehouse, only the warehouseman could really find the products. Directed and non-directed. Remember, that is where our WMS slots our inbound products in the reserves and slots utilizing a barcode system to direct where the product is going to go to or where it's coming from, and just about anything else we want it to know. Things like lot numbers, manufacture dates or expiration dates, the receiving date, pick slots, and its reserve slot maybe. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so they invested in a WMS system, kind of an off-the-shelf system, which is fine if everyone understands any limitations that such a system may bring along with it. Remember, a lot of work will go into developing the database needed for any computer system to be able to help us out in regards to efficiencies, decreasing travel times, and properly utilizing our available cube and product movement throughout our facility. An investment, again, we can't afford not to invest in. Well, they were able to get it installed quickly, and they built the accounts or inventory into it and turned on the selection component. And no one was happy with it. The system slowed them down. The inventory did not update properly, and the system could not be connected to the sales team. What they perceived as slowing them down was really, and as to be expected, just a learning curve. But I think the frustrations were allowed to build up, so it was the whole system. I hear this a couple of times a year, and I feel for anyone when I hear that they will be installing a WMS. It's needed, it's great, it's going to cost, and it's going to be worth it. As an employee, don't look at it as a negative. Yes, there is a wealth of reporting that can come along with it. Productivity, metrics, and adjustments to all of our measurements. But it will make our jobs easier. It's going to happen. Like it. And get out in front of it. Accept it. And we can use it to our advantage and make money with it. Shoot, I nearly forgot to talk about any RF equipment. RF means radio frequency. There are so many tech tools we're using in the warehouse today. From handheld scanners you'll see at your big box stores to voice-to-speak headsets that will direct us to our pick locations, and even printers we can wear on our hips that'll print out our labels as we confirm the product has been picked. And all of these are made useful because they're connected to our WMS. The most successful systems I've seen will touch each piece of our supply chain. Sometimes they'll work in conjunction with other systems, but they'll complete the circle. From our customer placing an order, the inventory will be checked automatically, the product placed on hold for that order, sent down to transportation and be routed and then shot over to the warehouse to be selected, loaded, and delivered. A good system can confirm all that has happened, time-stamped it, and met all regulatory trackings that may be needed. Check out WMS in your browser. A lot of this information sounds like it's meant for a supervisor or a manager. Actually, we employees need to understand the advantages, and yes, a few disadvantages of a strong WMS. But more importantly, learn to use them to create efficiencies for ourselves and make us more money. Check them out and send us any questions to host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com. We'll get you those answers. Until next week, be safe and let's each learn something new. Maybe share those thoughts with a peer.